self-improving artificial intelligence as a simulacrum of the human ability in terms of its mental construct, in terms of consciousness, in terms of the ability to make choices, in terms of the ability to be sentient in that particularly mental construct. But we think that the aspect of which the general self-improving artificial intelligence is not a simulacrum of the human person is that it has more efficiency in terms of the fact that it is not subjected to the weaknesses that are attached to the human physical biological construct. Therefore, it means that it is a simulacrum of the human nature in terms of the internal nature, but actually a better species in terms of the fact that it is not subjected to the spectrum of our weaknesses. It therefore means that it has the advantage of a machine. So now, let us go further on that and now talk about why. Secondly, we think that this debate is not a debate about whether artificial intelligence is good or not. This debate should be engaged on the level of what particular type of artificial intelligence should be pursued. There are different calibers of artificial intelligence. There are those ones that are made for specific functions, let's say the chess player, and these are the ones, the general artificial intelligence aspect is ones that has to do with the idea of a simulacrum of a human person. So now, given this framing, the first argument we give to you from side opening government is that this research holds the prospect of the alienation of the human race. We tell you that firstly, the fact that these guys, the artificial intelligence, the ability of it to make choice and all this stuff, means that it has the same nature as humans. It therefore means that they have the same basic instinct of human beings, like the basic instinct of humanity to lord over other species that exist in the world. So it therefore means that once these guys exist, the research that brings this particular artificial intelligence to an existence is a research that has the prospect of the alienation of humanity, because one, these guys will also want to lord over us, just as humans want to also lord over other species. So it is an act of human self-alienation. We think that humans should never pursue anything that alienates themselves. So we think that humans have an obligation to preserve their race. They should never pursue an act or a research that is self-annihilating, or a research that will destroy them. So now, secondly, we feel that these guys, maybe they want to come and engage this debate on an evolutionary spectrum by saying that, wow, that life is one that is evolutionary and humanity is wanting to evolve to humanity wants to evolve because like there's an evolutionary spectrum that works in nature. We think that human beings cannot be pawns to the evolutionary processes because one, other species that existed prior to humans that had to evolve to becoming humans were not as intelligent as humans, but humans have become that intelligent for them to be able to decide to whether to subject themselves to the evolutionary process or not to subject themselves to the evolutionary process. We think that for long nature has decided to use species as pawns in order to achieve its end. So to that extent, we think that the superiority of the human race is one that gives us this ability to make the choice of not being pawns in the hands of nature. So we do not want the internal will of nature to have its course through us. We do not want nature to use us as pawns. Beyond this, the third argument we bring to you is about how this is a threat to human dignity and how humans have the obligation to value their dignity. We think that human dignity lies in its ability to make choice, in ability goal setting, in its ability to be the supreme being that exists in nature. But when we create an artificial intelligence that has superiority over us, it therefore means that it undermines our words. But these guys might want to bring the argument of saying that, wow, the fact that we have the ability to create a particular kind of intelligence means that we even have the dignity. But we say at the point of creation, we have that closure. But at the point of their existence, their continued existence, it therefore means that our dignity will not be trumped upon. So even if the creation itself projects our dignity, but the existence of the stuff and its continuous existence will undermine our dignity, because these guys will become a superior race and they'll become those persons that have more worth than us. So we think that we have an obligation to actually preserve our dignity, and the prerogative of self-improvement is something that humans should hold. So now, what alternative do we give to this house? We think that even if the development of artificial intelligence in and of itself is something that actually shows how humans are intelligent and how humans are very creative, and now ultimately increases our dignity. There's an alternative we have. There's an alternative that is called the singularity research. The singularity research is one that says that human beings, if we want to increase ourselves based on artificial intelligence, we can get to a spectrum whereby we develop an artificial intelligence that becomes like attached to the human intelligence. So we get to a singularity where artificial intelligence and biological intelligence are integrated into one, whereby humans are the ones that still have the values of artificial intelligence in themselves. So we think that we prefer an enhancement that exists within us than an enhancement that is external to us, because the enhancement that is external to us is one that threatens us, but we will prefer an enhancement that exists within ourselves, that singularity whereby we have the artificial intelligence integrating itself to the biological intelligence, we having the superiority of the simulacrum, and also having okay, I'll take you.
So you can't debate on both sides of the emotion. The emotion talks about researching into these things. Then if you find certain flaws that we can curb at certain points in time, then we should get
For shame. Now, the motion is about researching into this, as you said, about general artificial intelligence. That one is one that exists externally to humans. But we are giving you an alternative of a research that you can make, the research of singularity, a world whereby you have an artificial intelligence that is integrated into the biological intelligence of human beings, and not the ones, like, you don't get it. Like, the singularity is an idea that we will create that artificial intelligence power inside of humanity itself, that as you have the ability to think as a machine, not a machine having the ability to think as you, which is what this we are debating against. We want a world whereby the intelligence of artificial intelligence can be integrated into the intelligence of humans, that we as humans can express both our normal biological powers and also the artificial powers. I don't know if you get this. This is very, very simple. I'll take closing. I think this plays out to our own case because, one, the fact is that the problem already exists in the status quo, that the superiority of many persons makes them to want to lord over others. So it therefore means that we shouldn't multiply the problem, because once we create more superior people, it therefore means that there will be more lording, there will be more inequality, there will be more injustices that exist in the society. So ultimately, we create a more problem for the world. So we want to reduce the chances of the availability of this kind of problems for the world. We want a world whereby people are able to enter into the singularity, where the entirety of humans becomes that intelligence. So we think that the prospect of the alternative research is better than the one that exists in the status quo now. We are not against the legitimacy of artificial intelligence. We support artificial intelligence, but the kind of artificial intelligence which we are talking about is what we regret. So what we have been able to show you in our house, we talked about how this is self-alienating to the human race. We also talked about how we ought not to be the pawns of the evolutionary process. We also talked about how it threatens human dignity, and we have been able to present an alternative to you. We think that with this we can win this debate, and my DPM will be able to give you more consequential analysis. With this, I'm proud to propose.